The mission of the Nature Conservancy is to protect the lands and waters on which all life depends. And this is more than just wildlife, this is our human lives. When we conserve the soil, we make it possible for a better livelihood for our farmers, we make it a more sustainable food security for our society, and at the same time we're reducing habitat loss and habitat conversion for agricultural purposes.
At this point in time, we know that our soils are greatly degraded over what we started working with when we started tearing up the prairies and the forest, and that we're a long ways from having the quality of soils we had to begin with, and we've got to start rebuilding them.
The thought behind interseeding, in this case cover crops at this growth stage, is that we can get them started, and then when that corn crop canopy is over, it would allow for those plants to just kind of sit there dormant, and then when harvest occurs, it basically opens up the canopy again to allow for more growth of them and allow for another window or opportunity for getting cover crops in the system. Our growers have a lot of different goals around this. Some are looking at biodiversity in their soil, so increasing their microbes, increasing their organic matter. Some are looking at this from increasing nitrogen so that they can reduce their inputs on commercial fertilizer.
My personal goal would be to plant every acre I plant into a living cover crop or a recently terminated cover crop, so there's always residue on top of the soil holding the soil. That's the key. If you can hold the soil and you have either the living root or the decaying root for the new plant roots to go into those same channels, and that's where all your beneficial microbes and nutrients are in the soil.
It's not just adopting a new approach to it, but it's figuring out how it fits your individual context. And so there's risk that comes with that, and we don't really pay farmers well enough to do that. And we don't help them take that risk together. This is all unknown, and every situation is unique. The offer of some help and participation in this project was a critical piece of that.
On our own farm, we were trying to figure out how to interseed crops, and having somebody else have the project, have the replications, everything that we want to try, but we don't have the equipment to right now, was a great opportunity that we couldn't pass up. This is one of those projects we definitely do for the next year, 2 years, 5 years, And part of the reason is we need to learn these things out here that work. We also need to have those partners in place that can help us think through those areas that we're missing.
In terms of trying to evaluate what we've learned, we don't know yet. And I'm anticipating it'll be 2 or 3 more years of trial with the same thing to figure out what we've actually learned. If we're competitive with yields, we're going to probably expand it.
It's a 1-year snapshot we're getting right now. We've been at the cover crop system for a good 20 years. I think you need to do a multi-year, take the long look, and see what becomes of it.
From a personal standpoint, using these technologies are valuable because we want to leave a legacy on our farm. We want to be able to say that if we pass on to the next generation, we left it in better condition than what we got it. And also I think long term, just as we're dealing throughout with consumers and throughout the public perception of farming, we want to have a face out there that says this is what we're doing. We're doing it not just for ourselves, but for society as a whole.
This project helps break the ice on interseeding, and it gives us an expectation of what to look for and what success looks like. And then through that success, we can tweak it and figure out ways to really perfect it as an art.